For reflection number 4 on visual communications, I chose to watch the video titled How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint by David J.P. Phillips. What I took as the main message is that presentations can be perceived as boring and complicated, but this is because people don't make a good usage of visual communication, and oftentimes they don't simplify their presentations. As Phillips mentions that presentations should serve as a visual aid, and the visuals should emphasize the in-depth information that one is presenting. For the target audience, I think it's professionals who work at a company that requires them to deliver visual information to their clients, such as a marketing agency. From the video, I can see that the target audience is pretty diverse. So we see like women and men, and we see different ages. In the video, we see the usage of imagery. So Philip mentions, I want you to picture you being home with a friend. The TV is on and there are bright and contrasting colors. I like that he uses this descriptive message to explain how visuals in TV can be eye-catching and apply to our presentation building skills. A second technique is the usage of visual drawings. One in particular is when he presents the blue colored dots and he has the audience nod once they have counted them. For me, as an audience, it engaged me to understand the cognitive power that it takes for a person to process something. This is when he introduces the idea that 6 items or 6 circles are going to retain the audience attention, that 6 is the magical number. One of the values is to be concise. So one of his tips, he has a bullet point that mentions have one story to tell, then decide the underlying issue that will be addressed. This value is carried throughout the video as he mentions that presentations shouldn't be complicated. One of the lifestyles that is presented is being a maximalist. So people don't have to be a minimalist when it comes to their presentations. Phillips says that he encourages people to spread out their content instead of piling it into one slide. He mentions that I want to make something clear. The amount of slides has never been the problem. Psychology is a point of view that is introduced in order to explain how people retain information. This is shown in the contrast example when Phillips does a before and after of a chart that is full of numbers, but when he highlights the chart, a part of the chart, it is the only thing that stands out, so we're more able to pay attention to this part. In the video, Philip criticizes when corporate tells their employees to fit their information in about 4 slides. I can see why someone in corporate would have trouble understanding that colleagues need to develop more slides in order to get their point across. In my personal experience, I had a professor tell me that our presentations had to be about 9 slides, and I felt restricted because I wanted to spread out my content and include a lot of pictures, but that would take up a lot of slides. Something that was omitted from the presentation is the usage of pictures. From a photography standpoint, I would have liked to know which photos catch a person's attention. If I had to create this part, I would have done a bright and dark edit of the same photo and explained which one works best for that presentation.